VCR Redux will begin in T-5 minutes.
What the fart is VCR Redux?
It's the show where we take movies from the VCR era and bring them back to today.
Well, how do we do that?
Well, we start by talking about a VHS classic, and usually you'll say something like,
I haven't been this uncomfortable since I watched Meatballs 4, Meatballs to the Rescue with my parents. Oh yeah, or you'll say something stupid like,
I wish we lived in a world where the Garbage Pail Kids made as many movies as the Muppets.
but I know you'll always see it through with a positive attitude.
I hate this movie, I hate being here, I hate all of this. Oh, Jamie Kennedy. Oh, well, shit. Well, let's go for this.
He was in Son of Mask. This is genius.
I am not a gamer. I'd rather read books. I'm just
Ian's like the old lady that's like, I got video game monsters, I got toy monsters in here.
As long as we respect the passion and the artistry that went into these films.
You know, obviously they took this movie, it's 93, right? You're like, what do you want to see in your Mario movie? And they're like, oh, we want it to be grim, we want a lot of death, we want tits and ass.
Oh, and then we start the pitch ideas with modern day sequels like
Weekend at Bernie's 3, Cocaine Mountain.
Sometimes we take it kinda seriously.
I'll watch a Paul Verhoeven alien movie.
oh my gosh, that alien will have more vaginas than anything you've ever seen in your life. Sometimes this Hawaiian shirted fool pitch something stupid like,
I would take out the virtual reality stuff and just have it be about Jeff Fahey mowing the lawn.
Sometimes the best pitches come from the live chat.
Alex Bonafonte also pitches Grand Theft Starfighter Vice Galaxy.
wait, I thought I had the best pitches.
And what happens at the end of the movie? The ultimate fart. The fart that the warmth goes like all the way down to your socks.
The only rules are, there are no rules. Sometimes we cross over franchises.
Only the truck from Tango and Cash can kill Christine.
And sometimes we travel back in time.
Like 1995 is missing a good Universal Soldier sequel.
But you never know what we're gonna pitch next.
What do you want? Do you want Daniel Stern behind like a muzzled mask? Like,
We all know it should be Pesci behind the mask, and like underneath the mask, you should hear him going like fritter, 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 fritter.
you are so proud of yourself for that one. I can't stand you.
I would also love to see a Charles Bronson version of It's a Wonderful Life.
What?
Direct to DVD.
If you made a shot-for-shot remake of Scarface with Goofy as Al Pacino, it would be amazing. Gosh, you need me to be the bad guy.
It's like the worst 1987 Disney movie Disney ever made. Schlongo, directed by Jim Wynorski.
Like, I would watch a whole bowl of that.
Do the John Holmes story. Add a comedy spin to it.
Wow, the Wonderland murders are so funny.
I'd watch it on my mobile.
Something happens and he goes into a coma. He gets like, hit by a car or something. I know this is dark, but like, bear with me. He's got to go on.
Did you just go like Hard to Kill with Ferris Bueller?
I'd watch it on my iPad.
If you want to just like throw in the kitchen sink, it all works. Like Alien versus Predator versus RoboCop, like if that works. Alien versus Predator versus Terminator, that works.
Alien versus Predator versus Ernest, that works.
That works.
I respect everything you just said. I need David Silver and Terry Silver and the Sloan family all learning the Quicksilver, but they're doing it in Breakin' 3 Hydraulic Boogaloo. And it's underwater. It's gonna be incredible. Eat your fucking shit out, James Cameron. I got the underwater movie you can't touch.
That was the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life.
Mr. Toxie Goes to Washington.
My ass would be in the theater tomorrow.
If Harley Quinn gets 7 movies, then Tank Girl should get at least 70.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life.
I mean, why should we even bother with Look Who's Talking when Air Bud is soaring to new highs?
All I know is I want Danny McBride.
I'd want him doing anything other than writing Halloween movies, honestly. Anything that keeps him away from that fucking job, I'm for it.
Just let him talk out of his butt. I don't care how he does it.
I'd rather not.
Austin Powers doing the Macarena.
That would be the opening credits. Come on.
But we have not yet had Die Hard on a half pipe. What if John McClane Jr. was a pro skateboarder and also an avid machine gun enthusiast? Skater Die Hard.
What up, virtual people? Welcome to the 179th episode of VCR Redux, where we take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2025. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most complaints, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And the VCR's favorite champion of Street Fighter II Pop Punk Edition, Steven Zangief Anderson, is back on the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
And rounding out this righteous crew, making a long-awaited return, he's one half of the creative genius behind Retro Fiend Radio, makers of the finest canon and martial arts docs on the internet. Dustin Nino is back on the show.
What up? Pleasure to be back. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Don't ever stay away for this long again. We
Fair
are
enough.
here today to pass the silent roach, to topple evil slumlords, and to bring new meaning to the term leather daddy. That's right, folks. This world needs people under the stairs too, and we're here to give it to you. But before he eats pizza through the zipper in his leather mask, we got a dish on how people under the stairs came into our lives and what we love about it. And of course, that goes double for you at home and everyone watching the live chat. Is it Love at First Laserdisc, Vital VHS? Hit us up in the chat and let us know how people under the stairs came into your lives. But Dustin, when did you first get people under the stairs?
You know, I was trying to think. Sometimes I can remember the first time I saw something, and sometimes I can't. I'm pretty sure this was like an HBO summer movie that was on all the time. I feel like I watched it a bunch just whenever it was on TV or something growing up.
Is it
Or when
weird
it
that
came
I
out.
think of this as a summer movie too? Like,
Yeah,
almost
'cause
in
I
a
just
sense
feel
of like a
that's
light,
when I
like, oh, this
saw
is like
it.
a good like June day, like a nice June afternoon movie, you know?
Right. Like I definitely probably saw it in the summer when, I wasn't going to school, and just remember watching it with like friends in the neighborhood that, we definitely weren't supposed to be watching it, and we were just like, oh shit, this movie's fucking crazy. We're just like, we loved it. It was fucking, we loved every second of how batshit crazy it was and how gory it was and how funny and weird it was. And
Man,
yeah, it was just a very
I approve this entire message.
movie.
This is fantastic. The kids should be taught. The kids should be taught this in school. God damn it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was fun. I don't. There weren't. The '90s was a time, Ian says this a lot, of the family movie.
Mhm.
And specifically, there was a lot of movies, live action movies for kids and stuff like that. They hadn't quite taken the lid off of like, the Pixar generation yet.
Mhm.
So it was, wild that we got this, but not as wild back in 1991. You're coming off of a world where
Right.
there are movies like Big Shots that exist. And it's like, okay,
Right.
yeah, Wes Craven could do a horror movie about a fucking kid that gets trapped in like these evil, incestuous landlord brother and sisters with shotguns and leather masks and, robbing them and like blah, 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 like fucking, that's, back in 1991, I was like, okay, yeah, that's a movie.
This is gonna come up in pitch time, but there is a great Disney movie of the week version of People Under the Stairs out there, and I'll talk about it later. But then they did this. And
Yeah. I love how 90s movies, the LA social commentary movies, and at the time, this or like hood movies
LA hate
during the
LA.
90s. It's either or just movies about the hood in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. They portray it.
Candyman, right? Yeah,
It's either the
Candyman-esque.
straight up like highest echelon of Beverly Hills or it's post-apocalyptic, and there's nothing really in between. Yeah.
It's true Beverly Hills or Menace to Society. You don't get a middle ground here, folks.
Exactly.
Yeah, or like Tales from the Hood almost even.
Yeah.
Speaking
Exactly.
of that,
Fucking-
this movie feels like. Speaking of what you were saying, Dustin, like it feels like if like he came in, he was like, I want to make Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I also want to make the Goonies, and maybe I like that movie, The Burbs, and like
Yeah.
and like, but it would be cool if one of
I like
those was one
Boys
of
in
the
the
Tales
Hood.
from the Hood stories. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And, like,
basically, Steve, this is the movie that AI created out of all of those early '90s movies and slotted it onto our computer screen.
Right, like if you could input like, what are your favorite movies? These 5. They're like, I guess this is have fun, enjoy this. But I liked it too. I'm with Dustin too. Like I watched it young, and I feel like this is a good like you're a kid. They don't do this anymore. There's,
Yeah.
they don't make movies that are accessible for kids where they're just weird and freaky enough if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's not gonna give a kid nightmares though. Yeah.
right,
Right.
yeah. But it's not gonna terrify them. But
Right.
but you need to like ease into shit like this, with like the implications of whatever. Like they never straight up. I was a kid, I didn't realize like how dark this actually was. I think
Right.
until
You're
watching
just
it again. Yeah,
yeah, no, you're just by the you're just enamored by the theatrics of the whole thing. I think
yeah,
as a kid, it's just so fucking bonkers. But
yeah. Exactly,
you
exactly.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think too that you don't really understand a whole lot of the social commentary either. But I think the comedy works, and I think probably this is one of Wes Craven's best movies where he blends horror and comedy, in my opinion. I think it works really well because it's so fucking dark. It needs the weirdness, like
Certainly
to
one
Yeah, I
of
think
balance
you're
the
out
right.
house on
the
the
Yeah,
left. Yeah.
and it does
yeah,
need
because
the occasional bit of like levity. Yeah, the occasional bit of like
yeah,
lightness. You
right. A
kid,
guy
you know
running
the.
around, yeah, in an S&M suit.
But yeah, and then like he smashes like the toilet tank lid on his head, and it's like Looney Tunes for a second,
Well,
and
that's
it
why I
like
said Home
Right.
Alone.
keeps
Part
it.
of this
Yeah,
movie just turns into
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Dude, when
you're
the
right.
fucking
There is.
dog,
Yeah.
the fucking dog down the sled, like, oh man,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
dude.
part, fucking this, we would laugh so hard.
Holy
Yeah,
fuck.
like,
Yeah, I want to like almost cut the score to this to the like bump it up, bump, 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 bump.
yeah, you could turn this movie into a whole different thing with like, yeah, with
Holy shit.
yakety
Yeah.
sax. Uh,
Wow, I
This
never
movie has
thought of
some
it like
stellar.
that.
It
Wow.
has some stellar dog
Now you
acting.
on Benny Hill's version of People Under the Stairs. That's
yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's just that song that was in everything in the 90s. They even put it in like the Mighty Ducks, that one little cue from Home Alone.
Yeah, that would have been the time for that. Yeah.
This definitely would have
that from
been.
the
But I don't
Nutcracker?
know.
Yeah,
Before we get
that's the Nutcracker suite.
is that what that's from?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's. Oh, I think so. I don't quote me.
Oh, well, yes,
Our
don't
audience
quote me.
knows.
I'm
Somebody
sitting
look it
here with
up.
my brandy. So when did Country Club Ian discover this gem of pop culture?
All right. So here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. The 90s were a wild time. All right. And
Yes.
I think that they just gave there was a period where Hollywood just did not know what to do. I think there was people were getting off the cocaine and they were still a little clouded. They were starting to get Starbucks every day and they just were like what's the movie idea? And Wes Craven started, and they're like, "Hey, you did Nightmare on Elm Street. Here you go. Just go do something. We'll put on video." And that is what this movie is. And so I remember seeing clips of this playing on USA. And ironically, it's funny, Dustin, you say it, because I remember it being during the day. I don't know why, but I feel like there's a Sunday in the 90s I'm watching this on USA.
Right.
For some reason, because it's not an explicit movie, so they didn't have to take out a whole lot. I mean, like you could actually play. I think you can play a lot of People Under the Stairs.
Yeah,
one part.
Yeah, there's a couple edits, like a couple punk ass or whatever the lines are, or something
Yeah,
like that.
I mean it's so. But I do remember the VHS. So I want to say like when I first fully watched it though, wasn't until honestly in my late 20s.
Oh man, you missed
You
out,
really,
sir.
really
When
sat down and watched it. That makes sense.
Did I?
That makes sense. Why you're the only one here who's like, I don't know if I'm fucking feeling this movie or whatever.
Listen. I get it and I don't get it with this movie. I'm gonna be flat out honest. And we'll talk a little bit more about it, but it's a wild movie. This and the social commentary, the satire of it, I appreciate as I get older. But listen, my mother watches this show, and I worry for her because if she ever sees this movie,
no, right. So that's the
Mama
thing is that
Klink.
the reality of
Go
what's
on.
going on in this movie, juxtaposition to the happy, again, Goonies-esque ending of like the money flying out the thing and the hood, everybody out there dancing, like it's a happy ending movie of like it has like one of those like the same time, like button ending movies that you would put on your family friendly, blockbuster, which is just weird for a movie about essentially like a old money, wealthy, white incestual couple who are, eating people and stealing children and keeping them under the stairs, and
Right.
keeping them locked in their house. And like
I mean, the title does give you what you want. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, but like it doesn't know how
There are
hard it
people
doesn't tell you how hard they're gonna make it, like
You're right.
maybe they got some people locked up under there. No, they're
Yeah.
children that they stole
I'm
and
just gonna-
babies
I'm
that they've
gonna-
raised under the stairs and now they're eat each other,
I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
It's the weird gimp costume. It's the weirdness of the I don't get it. I don't get where that came from. I don't get what that has anything to do with this movie. And
You
it's
you
weird in
you don't
the
think that's a great reveal when he needs to get serious? He's got to put on the daddy suit.
Yeah, that's what he gets mad.
I think that's I think it's awesome. I think it's a really unique touch, and
It's
like
funny.
I don't need to understand it. Here's the thing: I didn't understand as a kid. I don't like understand what the why people wear these suits or like what that's about. But like, other than like I get that it's like some kind of weird sex kink, but
Yeah.
like I don't know, No.
Look,
I think
I'm not gonna yuck a yum. Live your dreams. My point though, it's just where did that come from? And like where was the studio executive on the set that day who's like, Wes?
There couldn't have been any oversight on this whatsoever. I can't. I won't believe that.
They're coming off it's a Universal movie. It's the the early '90s. Universal was like untouchable back then, so they're probably just like, do whatever you want, whatever. Wes Craven, no, we can't lose. What do you know?
Fantastic VHS cover though. I mean, I do remember this.
Oh yeah,
the box art's great.
Oh, yeah.
What was Scream? Like what
Scream was 96.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean like what studio?
The Dimension, of course.
Scream
Dimension,
was Dimension.
I just want to know all the people that that came to him afterwards. He was like, I want to do a movie with you guys. And they're like, yeah, do whatever you want. And he's like, all right. And then I just wanted to see all the studio heads when Scream came out of Dimension. They're like, motherfucker. Like, fucking.
Yeah.
All the Universal
said,
people.
do whatever you
like,
want. If you give us people under the goddamn stairs. Fucking.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. Maybe it's on them because I see in the chat Michael Ricci saying it's not a summer movie and that it came out in November. And if that's true, then Universal must have fucking hated this movie so much because it's absolutely the worst year. There's 12 months in a year to put out a movie, and November is the worst one to put this out in. You might as well put this out in fucking Christmas time. Like Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
November. You don't even do the respect of putting it out 1 month earlier for fucking October. And pump it up as the director of West,
I never understand a studio that doesn't release a horror movie in October. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, no, I mean I get it. Doing it in February, it's counter programming to the Valentine's Day rom-coms and shit. Sometimes you can get away with a huge hit then. I think Scream might have been one of those. But like November is clearly saying like, oh, we just missed it. You're already done with horror. This is the month where you're gonna have the lowest like thirst for horror out of
They were
all the
going for
months
the
in the
Academy
year.
Award. That's what they were doing.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
Of course, yeah. Leather in the role of Leather Daddy, Everett McGill.
Right. I think
so
if I could
before-
just to what your point, Ian, one more issue. I think if you saw this in the summer as a child, part of the reason why it was like reason why I liked it anyways was because you didn't know what was going to be on. It was just okay. I don't know what the fuck's going to be on TV tonight, and then it's this movie, and then I think that's part of the thing too that people don't get to experience is not knowing anything about what's going to be on, and you're going to watch it. And
we are one of the last age group. I do agree with you, Justin. We're one of the last age group. We couldn't just fast forward. We couldn't just get the red line on the YouTube and just kind of see what was coming. It took a lot to fast forward to that VHS. So you just kind of went with the journey.
Right.
If the back of the box was vague enough, you would sit there and look at two covers, like being like, this one's a little bit.
Yeah.
was
Your mom's
an
in the car
investment,
honking the horn at the video store, like pissed, like
It was definitely one of those, like, nowadays, it's funny. I talk to my students about how they just, they'll watch a movie for 2 minutes and just click. I mean, because there's so much out there. There's so much you can watch, and you know, this definitely came in the era where it's like you start watching, you're like, nah, I invested in this. I'm
Yeah, dude, a
finished.
movie has to be truly deplorably terrible for me to like shut
Yes,
it
it
off.
has
Like,
to be
I
very
feel like I
bad
have to
things.
do that to myself. That, well, you put it on, now you gotta watch it. Like,
Right.
that's like my
Even very
mindset.
bad things. I watched it till the very end because I had to know how bad it was going to get.
Yeah,
And
I've seen that whole movie
certainly
through
owned
too.
up
Yeah.
to it.
I
Yeah.
almost bought a used copy of that last weekend. It was a few bucks just because it keeps coming up on this show for whatever reason. But at any rate, before I get into my first time seeing people on the stairs, let's see what people in the live chat say. Let's see who's tuning in. Today we have Angie Saunders, the mashup genius, Whiskey 401, the great Alex Bonafonte, Caitlin Altman, America's Next Top Model, Penny, new name I see there, so maybe that's the cartoon from Pee-wee's Playhouse. Thank you for tuning in. Michael Ricci, our favorite location scout. Brian Sanchez, another new name. Thank you for tuning in. Gold's Code, the great Sean Gold. Sean Ellis. Cobra Kai Never Dies, our friend Joanne Bullimore. And I guess that's it so far in the live chat. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Angie Saunders says, I don't remember this movie. So, again, thank you so much for tuning in, Angie. I know we've been getting obscure on these movies for you. Whiskey 41 says, I've got my leather daddy suit on and ready. Michael
Yes.
Ricci says, wow, 179 episodes is a lot to stuff under the stairs. So Gold goes to say, Ian, a movie where the main character is named after you. I saw this movie on TV when I was a kid. It was always on in the mid-90s. Sean Ellis, first time I saw this movie was on the Box Office Network, or as we know it now, HBO Max. Whiskey 41 saw it in theaters as a kid, loved it, perfect balance of scary, disturbing, and fun.
Did he call it the Box Office Network?
I guess that maybe that's what it's called.
That's a beautiful way of describing it.
I love it. Yeah, home box office,
The
box office
Network. I love that.
Makes me want a bonbon. Apparently, Michael Ricci says before West Craven passed, he was developing a TV version for the Sci-Fi Channel. Man, I wish that one.
Whoa,
It's something
that
we got
would've
to
been
see.
cool.
Sean else says it's like a rejected parody of the Addams Family. Ironically, we almost did the Addams Family this week, so we're probably going to do the '90s Addams Family films soon. Unfortunately, what the Raul Julia? Those are incredible films. But Gold's Code wondering, how did Roach hide in the walls? The house isn't that big. That's a fair question. Before we theorize on that, though, I guess we have to talk about my first time getting people under the stairs. I actually saw this movie about 2 years after it came out, so probably about a year after it was on video. I think it was just a random rental. I was just like, title, cover, Craven, sure. And I was in like third grade. And this is one of those movies that I had to show everybody. First, like, you show this friend who lives down the street, then you show that friend from the neighbor, then you show your older brother, and then he shows their friends, and it was just one of those movies where I was like, oh my God, this is...
The moral of the story, Chris had no friends growing up.
Well, you could say that the VCR was and will always be my best friend, but no, So, at any rate, I'm so sad. No, this is a movie that, how do I put it? I guess I would say, sometimes I could say this and it might sound like an insult, and sometimes I could say this and it might sound like a compliment. Today, I mean it as a compliment to say that this is a movie that feels like it came from a book. And I mean that in a good way, not in a bad way. Like, it's rich in story, and it's rich in character, and it's rich in, like, visual detail, and...
that makes sense. I mean, the last place you'd ever go with it, if somebody told you to write a book about, a couple that abducts children and keeps them under the stairs and whatever, is that you would be like, okay, I'm going to take it from the perspective of a young Black kid in this community who's trying to, who's trying to, like, his mom's got cancer, and, like, he's really trying to, like, do right by her. And he's got, they're going to rob the place, and he's morally objective, and, like, it's
Dude, his stepdad's like trying to teach him how to be a burglar and a piece of shit.
Yeah.
God,
Vin
dude.
Rames, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God, I love
That's
it.
the kid from Moonwalker. I don't know if you guys watched
Yes,
Moonwalker
Brandon
like I did
Adams,
growing
yes.
up,
Oh,
but I'm like, oh, that's
Moonwalker.
the little nice kid from Moonwalker. This fucking sucks. Like, you
Yeah,
know, the
he's
sports
young.
fucking
He's young
kid.
Michael Jackson in the Junior Baby Bad music video.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. They did a shot for shot remake of the Bad music video with little kids. And he plays MJ, and yeah, he's in at the end of Moonwalker too, I think, right?
Who's
The
in
Mighty,
who's
he's the
that?
Mighty Ducks kid,
He's
right?
the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, he's the Mighty
Yeah.
Ducks, of course.
He's the Mighty
Yeah, we
Ducks.
all
He's the
know
one that
him. Yeah,
he's the one that
Jesse Hall.
calls the
Just
cake
Sandlot.
eater.
Yes,
Film movie.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just
But I
Sandlot,
mean,
too.
shout out to the cast because you have the great Bill Cobb, you have the amazing Kelly Jo Minter, Ving Rhames, Everett McGill, Wendy Roby. Like, this is a very deep cast. There's
Prince,
a lot.
Prince the dog. Some amazing dog acting.
Amazing
We talk about
dog
him enough on
acting.
the show.
Dog
Sean
like the
Whalen and
fucking
Jan
slide.
Birch. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
You could not have done
Sean
better than
Whalen.
Sean Whalen and Jan Birch. The Stairmaster. You remember that guy? Like, it's weird.
Sean
You
Whalen, that guy
remember-
was in a lot of commercials. Sean Whalen.
Oh, Sean Whalen. Yeah.
He's in
yeah.
a lot of '90s commercials. I remember.
Well,
that.
he's the milk commercial guy. That was a huge that was
yeah,
huge
yeah, I
for them.
remember.
Yeah, when he calls a radio
Yeah.
station, and they're like, "You name the whatever else," and it's everything in the room or
The
whatever.
peanut butter
Yeah.
commercial. He had peanut butter.
Yeah, that was it. Was yeah. Yeah, it was that was like one of the first like got milk commercials for that campaign.
Yeah, that was. I feel like, yeah,
that's
you're
so
right. I feel
funny.
like that sort of
Thank
birthed
you.
that. It's funny how some of these people can come from that. Like, Justin Long was like the iMac guy or the Apple guy or
Oh,
whatever.
shit, yeah.
He was.
Or,
That's
like-
right, yeah.
In
That's
fairness,
good
though, he
back.
might have been Justin Long before that too. Like, I mean, like he might have been too. Like, I think that might have been after he was.
That career was
97.
Justin Short.
Crazy.
Well,
No, I was saying this earlier. You know, it's funny. Like, there's a version of People Under the Stairs. I mean, and I don't know if this is pitch or not,
Oh.
but like, there's a version of this that is the Disney Channel, right? Like this could have been a really cool, creepy, you know.
You want this to be a Goosebump story? Ian?
I was just supposed to say that, yeah.
It's kind of a Goosebump story if you took out the weird.
Are you
That's
afraid
the
of
problem, though, is
element
that
of the whole
who are
dialogue.
the people? If the people aren't kidnapped children who have been
Right.
abused and left to fucking,
Yeah.
you know,
It
eat
could be
each
their
other under the
kids. It
stairs.
could have been their kids under the stairs that they just hid in the walls. I mean, you didn't care.
Well, they'd
Sometimes
still
you
have
don't-
to be.
See,
I think
Ian,
they were-
Ian's not bothered. Ian's, you got to understand, though. Ian's not bothered by the children and the child abuse and the torture and the cutting out the tongues and stuff.
Never,
Like
I
that.
read-
He's
I
bothered
read-
by the leather mask, all right?
It's
That's what
that
bothers
part
Ian.
of the- I'm
Like,
sorry.
he's-
It's that part of the movie that
It's
I
the
just-
mask.
I don't
It's
get
not
it.
even the incest, it's the mask.
Yeah, I get it. I just
Ian, that's
get
technically
it.
that's the least offensively weird part.
Yeah.
Let me just
for
try and
them, it's
explain
too
it.
much.
Let me just try and explain it in terms that Ian can understand. Ian, that's how people from New York City, they eat their gas station pizza through the zipper and the mask. See? And so you eat it through that beard and self-righteousness, and they
we
eat
perform
it through
fellatio through the mask.
Look,
That's what the zipper's for.
Look, like I said, live your dreams. You know, play the violin.
Steal children, keep them in your walls.
Become a chess
Put a dog in
master.
there. See what that.
You know, write a book.
It could
Zip up,
be
whatever it is. Like, do your dreams, but just don't put it in a really cool Goosebumps-esque plot line so that it takes me out of it. Like it just, yeah, it's just weird. I can't do it.
Next. Yeah.
Next,
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
great,
I
yeah.
think that if you did see it in your 20s and you just weren't like in the mood for it, it's definitely one of those movies you got to be.
Yeah, you missed out. You got to see this as a
yeah.
kid because this
Yeah.
is like,
Yeah.
this is like, I think, a mutual friend of ours, Steve, was asking me, oh, what's, horror movies I can show like my nieces and nephews, and I'm like Monster Squad and like, Lady in White and like Lost Boys and this and that, Teen Wolf. I didn't even think of this one. This one's like totally accessible for kids,
It's one of those ones that you're gonna want your kids to watch without you, though.
I'll take Lucas Haas being traumatized in a closet of a school.
This is like the
Over-
movie that
Oh
you
my
first
God!
watched.
Of course you cling to Lady in White, you bastard.
What's wrong with Lady?
Bastard.
That movie was scary. And
That
she's
scared me
kind of
too
an
much. This is less scary than that movie, I think, to me.
I will say this though. Upon rewatching it, all right, and as a historian, all right, as a film contextualist, all right, what I love about it is he hid a really cool old school blaxploitation movie in the horror genre when it wasn't popular to do. Right? Like as much as people joke about Blackula, right? As much as people joke about, and I get it, the title's stupid, Blackenstein. I get it, but there was some really cool from that era in the 70s. There were some really cool horror movies. Blackula actually is really, if you really watch it, it's taken very seriously, and the acting is amazing. And,
Am I remembering this right, Ian? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up, but did he direct Vampire in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, wow.
That was the one he did after this, I think, or something like that. But
I think it was this New Nightmare and then Vampire in Brooklyn.
That might be, yeah. But
What a weird run.
But there's this.
Yeah,
one
New
called-
Nightmare. Oh.
Yeah, there's one called.
I feel like I'm the only. I feel like I'm the only person that is not a New Nightmare fan. I almost don't want to bring it up because I don't want everyone to
too
talk
meta.
about this. Yeah,
It was-
it
was too.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was too serious meta. You know,
Yeah,
people just want Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, exactly. Just
give us Freddy
yeah.
Krueger. Don't give us a demon pretending to be.
They should have done that fucking
Neat
Peter
idea.
Jackson script. Is what they should have done. I always have been obsessed with the idea of that script. But anyway,
really People Under the Stairs has a really good social
commentary,
and especially after the riots in the 90s, the Rodney King era. This kind of came out after that. This really, like, in a weird way, this has a neat connection to movies like Do the Right Thing or Menace to Society. I mean, you could put People Under the Stairs in that category, and I respect it for that. I really do. I actually really respect that approach to the story, where it was calling out some real issues that were going on at the time.
Mm-hmm. But as a historian,
the movie put on a mask. If you get my drift.
Well, it's not subtle.
killed
Ian.
the
It's
oh my gosh,
where
yes,
you
we
had-
get it. Ian's sexually repressed attitude towards this movie is well noted. So it is pitch
So you
time,
walked in
though.
on somebody with one of those masks on doing something. So.
Dude,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
You just didn't. Profane
Whiskey
Klink didn't
411.
appreciate the mise en
Whiskey
scène
411.
of the situation.
Whiskey in the chat saying, "I don't think Ian is as disturbed by the bondage garb as he is aroused and uncomfortable with being aroused."
The audacity of you people.
But it is pitch time, so there is already Gold's Code saying that we got to do Black to the Future with Marty McSuperfly. I think that's a Family Guy reference. Gold's Code also having a pitch. His pitch: Mitchell and crew seek to prank the preps, only to discover that the Robesons are Blaine's parents, trapping them in the house. Now they must blade their way out in Stairborn. Gentrify this, brah. So I was thrown by the Robesons. I guess that's their name. I don't even know if I ever caught
I was
that.
so proud of the Stairborn. I can see his face right now.
Stairborn is
so
pretty
proud of
fucking good. I'm not gonna lie.
That's pretty. Very.
You know,
good job,
coming from the guy who's gonna pitch me pizza under the stairs.
I truthfully, honestly, if we're gonna, if you're gonna remake it, and maybe this might be too cliche because I think it's so easy to go to him, but just for the sake of getting it over with, is there the Jordan Peele version of People Under the Stairs?
Absolutely.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
I mean,
that's so in his wheelhouse of weird.
Which is why I say, is it too cliche? Is it too?
Well, no, because the one thing he hasn't fucked with is he hasn't gone that version of weird, like that whatever else. Like we haven't had him deal with any of that kind of like exploitative kind of like natured horror yet at all. Like all his shit is pretty like it's pretty on the level when it comes to that. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty much
exactly what you're saying.
yeah. I'd like to see how he'd handle something like that. It was given.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. That's certainly, I think, a pretty obvious choice. Not to whatever. It's a good choice. I think we've all probably thought that, and I think
I was gonna say, I actually would love to put this, if you did remake it. I wouldn't want to change the time frame. I actually would want to put it during the riots, in the 90s in LA, the LA riots in the 90s. I think if you put this story and hid that within that going
Right.
on,
Make the social
would fit,
commentary not
fit
so
with the son. It would fit with
insanely
the
heavy-handed.
father trying to teach his son. I mean, taking advantage of this moment in time and the looting and stuff like that. I think it would be a really interesting social message. Which obviously in a Jordan Peele world, that's kind of what he does. But regardless of even Jordan Peele, I think if whoever did it, if you kept it in that 90s space.
That makes all the sense in the world, and I think you name the director that would be best to do that too. Actually, I think you would kill this if you could just if you could just embrace the grittiness of this. If you can embrace the leather daddy mask,
or honestly, I think put it in Katrina, put it during Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. Yeah, I mean, again, that taking the societal part of what we all I remember, and what we saw and the things newscasters said that got them fired. I mean, like it was, putting this where, again, the whole point is that you think it's going to go one way, and all of a sudden when you go into that house, well, that movie's going to spin you a whole entire, it's gonna mess you up because this is not what you expected coming into this movie.
Right.
Which is kind of what I felt like it would Get Out. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that spin. I didn't expect that with Us.
Right.
It could be really interesting with that.
I would embrace. I wouldn't be as twisty as something like Get Out, but I would embrace the madness that this movie was kind of going for. And I, like what's like, if a leather mask was like, fucking too much for people back then. I don't know if it was or wasn't, but what would, we've come a long way. What's, where do you go from there?
I know, right? People are
how do you
like,
up the stakes on that?
Like bondage and incest is like, whatever now, right? Like,
right? Yeah, it's so passe. Yeah, passe.
They're
so blasé. Yeah,
they're multi-billionaires that run the government.
Right. You're telling me these rich landlords are brother and sister, and they fuck each other, and
that would actually be an interesting approach. That is something I think we all experience for us who have rented and have run into the idea of cost rises lately, especially post COVID. And are these people their kids or are they residents? Like that.
Right.
That's an interesting theory. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do
the
like
incest thing is always weird. I mean, like it was just
that's the great part about it though.
They don't really even focus on it just because
That's why I said this movie wants to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre and it wants to be Home Alone at the same time, and it's great.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's also it's also a different twist on one of my favorite little obscure Joe Pesci movies, The Super. If you took The Super and you're just like crank this up to fucking weird as fuck territory.
Sure, but see, Ian, it's like that's what makes this movie, I think, uniquely like kind of a gem for like what it is that all that shit is secondary, but it's all so heavy. Like you watch the movie and you get through it and you're like, oh, that was just a weird, goofy romp, and you're like, weird and goofy. No, like if these people existed in real life, it would be the most tragic, horrific, like deplorable fucking story you'd ever heard.
Stories of people.
Exactly.
You've heard the ones who like, what was that? The Room.
Right, but like you're taking all of the histories, like our most of recent or whatever histories, like the biggest monsters and like with the biggest kill counts, and you're this guy ate people and this person sexually assaulted, these people stole children and whatever, this guy kept people in his basement and like they would grow up in his backyard. These people are doing all of that, collectively together.
Yeah. They're very multifaceted.
And they've been doing it for however old Roach is, at least,
This could be interesting, but it's just the visualness that sparks my interest, and you guys might take it where you want. But you remember the opening of Dawn of the Dead, where the police go into that apartment complex, and it's this it's basically they're invading a high rise, and it's it's a very 1970s high rise apartment complex.
You know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
The 78 version of Dawn of the Dead, the
Right.
Romero version.
That's what I figured. You were, yeah.
You know, so imagine this, if because I like doing this weird thing. Imagine if People Under the Stairs 91 is actually a remake of a 70s version where the father and the son are going into this apartment complex to rob
that'd be cool.
apartments, and the landlords are the husband and the wife, and the residents are the people under the stairs. And I can see it's this cover. It's just, you know, an apartment complex instead of a house, you know, and like, I don't know why, but that is just such a neat idea.
Yeah,
The apartment
that's a cool
complex,
concept.
the landlord thing that we're kind of talking about. That to be honest, and I'll just say it, you know, sure, throw in the guy with the zip. I don't, I don't care in that version. Like, live your dreams, all right? But
always,
but like that version, that weird, wild '70s version of this story, just could be really, really a wild movie.
That would be cool. And then you combine. Go ahead. Sorry, Styles.
No. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, then you combine it with the raid and have Indonesian knife fights.
Honestly, and I know Dustin, you're going to be on my side on this. All right.
Yeah.
That version, and watch his face, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, just watch his face. That version stars Jim Kelly.
Oh.
There it is. Thank you.
Yeah,
okay.
thank you. Yeah. Oh, damn, dude. Damn, do I want to watch that now?
Right? Like that is a wild version of this movie that still has the social.
Hell yeah.
It has that social but like Jim Kelly's now roundhouse kicking these weirdos.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
bullshit,
like,
mom and dad.
So oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know.
I was gonna say, so in your version, so we come to find out with this happy ending of this movie, the way that it has to go down like this, that the people are under the stairs aren't the bad, you know, entity or whatever. They're not the bad guy in this movie. It's the, you know, it's obviously mommy and daddy, or whatever, right? So they're just misunderstood, and in the end of it, they even get out, and you see them walking out. I don't know what's gonna happen there, but in your version, is that still the case?
Yeah, because here's that version of it. They're under like a, because these are weird movies. That the genre in the exploitation movies of the '70s. I mean, they threw in everything. You know, like they threw in kung fu. They threw in, you know, car washes. They threw in all this stuff, right? Like in this version, it's voodoo. You know, it's old school Haitian voodoo, right? Like,
all right.
For some odd reason, that is how they're making these tenants kind of be these weirdo things.
You see, you need something like this, because this movie is actually smart enough to explain to you when he tries to leave, and the little girl's like, and he's like, you can see the whole ghetto from out here, or whatever, you know, and she doesn't even understand that there is an outside, or whatever else. Like, she's too scared to leave. Anyway, so that's how you believe that these. How would you possibly believe that there are all these people in this house that have never even tried to get out? You know what I mean? Like, or if they did try to get out, they'd be out of there in 2 seconds.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're under this, and maybe it's I don't know.
That makes sense though. The voodoo thing's not bad.
It's the senior citizen living. You know, this complex, and you know they're doing this because they collect all the money or something like that.
Right, but they had to have been there for a while, because we need these people to be just as fucking weird and freaky as the actual people.
Well, they have they have those people, but they also have their own kids. They also kidnap some kids, and so it's all the gang that's within the walls are the kids of these apartment complex. They're kind of the escapees who, you know, that's still his job. His job is still the exterminator as the landlord to make sure these kids don't get out and set the traps and all that craziness. But, you know, I don't know who's an actor who I envision in the Ving Rhames role, but you know,
give Ving Rhames.
I want to know who's in the leather daddy role as the The real question. That guy's got to be
Christopher Maloney.
Richard
Oh,
Mazer.
fucking amazing.
Christopher Maloney.
Amazing. Christopher Maloney would
Yeah, Freak Show
destroy
would be
that part.
awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
He would be great. He would be
He's
great.
so
He's an
good.
incredible actor. He's very, very capable.
No,
So
I
my
want no. We're gonna bring back French Stewart. I want French Stewart.
Well, he could be Roach.
Are you serious when you say that?
I mean, it won't make any sense because he's 65 years old. But other than that, yeah.
He'd be very good. Yes, yes.
We gotta get these people out of these houses. My gosh, they're in the wall. Shotgun.
Well, I've certainly mastered seeing no evil at all. I don't see any of it. So my twist, something I'd kind of like to see. You know, I mean, either if you're not giving me like a movie about the people under the stairs, like a true sequel where they're now like some sort of like underground gang of like they live under the sewers but they come out and fight crime at night kind of thing, that would be awesome. If you're not gonna give me that though, then I wouldn't mind seeing a situation where you set up like the first act of the movie and you think that it's a kid falling into their trap, but then you realize that the kid is hunting them and maybe the kid isn't even a kid. I know that was kind of done recently, that movie where they adopt the girl and turns out she's like 30 or whatever.
Oh, the
orphan or whatever. But something kind of maybe in that type of way to sort of trap the parents, and it becomes they're being hunted, and then it's just like a great, almost like a revenge, revenge exploitation.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because one of the people that they killed was this kid's sister or something, or he's rescuing his own sister or something,
That'd
be
fun.
I don't know.
I just thought of the worst idea. Can I give you guys the worst?
Yeah,
pitch?
yeah,
The
please.
worst one, yeah.
All right.
Nothing can be worse than this movie.
No, the sequel is a straight Talking Heads documentary, sitting down with all the people who had escaped from under the stairs.
Oh, that would be
many
that
years
would
later.
Dude, that would be cool.
And it's just their journey into integrating into society and
That
where
would
they are
be-
now.
I would
my
so
God,
watch that. I
dude.
would so watch that. It's
Azure
like
Pet
into the
Boys.
dark. Yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
the only one we knew was Roach. and
Only
he's dead.
if it's filmed on like 16 millimeter. Where
That's
it's
what I mean.
Yes,
And they're
yeah.
sitting down with them, and they're like,
it's like the 90s. Like the
It's got to
15
look like
lines.
Hoop Dreams. Yeah,
Yeah, like
exactly.
Hoop Dreams. Only if it
man.
looks like that.
it's like
Yeah.
I got a job working like, at the local community college. I'm just, janitor at night, but it's quiet at night. I like it quiet at night. I can still hear those paws through the gut, through the air ducts.
exactly.
Like every time I see a dog, I say, like just, fucking, we would eat each other, but we also loved each other, and I miss them all every day.
Yeah. One guy forms like an albinos anonymous club.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's like,
I think somehow one of them's an influencer. There are more pitches though.
yeah,
There are more pitches.
I'm
They're
done.
on
I'm out.
TikTok.
Sorry for that.
I'm on TikTok. I have 415 followers. Yeah.
I was
Atta girl.
thinking, who would be the worst couples to take over this? And at first I thought Julia Louis-Dreyfus and whoever played Todd in Christmas Vacation, like if they were playing,
Whatever guest, the Christopher Guest brother.
oh
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know,
funny.
Margot.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's funny.
Who could
They
play
basically
Or like
were
if Gilbert Gottfried played like the dad, you know what I mean? Him with the leather shit would be hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only way that I would have ever saw this movie and enjoyed it. Gilbert
that's
Gottfried was the
Oh, you would have loved it if Eddie Deason was the leather daddy, and you know it.
If you had Christopher Maloney and Sarah
Stop
Paulson
turning me to the
playing
dark
this-
side, Chris.
Sarah Paulson and Christopher Maloney
wow.
playing this role, you would get an Oscar fucking for people under the stairs. Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be
the two
cool.
of them would
Sarah
just
Paulson,
destroy it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
they
my
could do like
God.
American Horror
Yes.
Story, like episodic sort of like breakdown what
I swear
what
to
the
God,
trafficking
Chris,
ring is all about.
what's his
would be
name?
fun.
Ryan Murphy. It's like Ryan Murphy saw
hit or
this
miss.
movie and was like,
Yeah.
I can remake that, and that is what that first season is.
Oh yeah,
American Horror
it's
Story.
very
what?
much.
This. I mean,
Horror Story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
totally.
Or
I mean,
have you
it's
seen
it's
the?
like you throw this in a blender and you rehash it. That's really
This has already been thrown in a couple blenders.
Well, that's what I'm
The
saying.
end
But like
of
that,
this movie too is very similar. I don't know. Have you guys seen Doctor Sleep?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Doctor Sleep.
The end
Oh,
of
yeah.
Doctor Sleep is like the people under the stairs ending, pretty much. It's like all this
Yeah,
big,
kind of. Yeah.
like all the ghosts or whatever come out and
this
from under the stairs almost too or whatever, and then
That's
save the
right,
day and
yeah.
shit.
That's
I was like,
funny,
this is
yeah.
very people under the stairs when I was watching Doctor Sleep. I was like, that's funny.
It's
Yeah.
funny because this People on the Stairs does feel kind of Stephen King-ish, if you think about it.
It's
it is
just
very
like-
like a
Yeah,
novel.
yeah. I mean, it's
I'm almost saying.
it absolutely could have been one of those, and again, it's a. Like I said, I've always liked it for its societal approach. I mean, it really does have, I don't think no matter where you put it, as long as it's really kind of showing the difference between high class and lower class.
Right. It could have been a little more. It could have been written better. It could have been a little more less heavy-handed. And
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is there a version?
giving us a little
Wes
more?
Craven, I think, definitely did the spaghetti on the wall.
Yeah.
See what lands a little bit.
I don't know. I think it all sticks. I think the walls are made out of flypaper.
I think it does stick. I agree with you. I think it does stick. But is there if this was done, say that game that we do, if David Lynch did People Under the Stairs, if
oh man, yeah,
if Cronenberg did People Under the Stairs,
right,
if Mick Garris did People Under the Stairs, I think it would be a little bit more.
If we got John Carpenter's
Americana,
People Under the Stairs,
it would
be
more on the family and the those dynamics. But
oh god, if it was John Carpenter's People on the Stairs, then I guarantee you Tom Atkins plays Leather Daddy.
Oh man, that'd be so funny.
Of course he does.
I'd like John Woo's
Jason
People
Patrick's
Under the
gonna play
Stairs.
Leather Daddy.
Could have been Kurt Russell, I guess. Could have been Russell.
No, it's Jason Patrick. Every movie needs to have Jason Patrick in it.
Oh my
I
god,
don't know
that's so
what
funny.
I like Jason Patrick, but I don't know why you're obsessed with him all of a sudden. This is new.
No,
Did you
Peter
like-
Jason. Daggone it, not Jason Patrick. Peter Jason.
You don't even know who you like, dude.
I always get his name mixed up, but he's the
Peter
Steve
picked a
Austin, you have it all.
pepper.
Give it up.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a sequel, like they did Candyman. They did it. I'd like the sequel to Candyman. I don't know if you guys saw that recent one.
Yeah, I
they did.
thought it was really good too, man.
That was fun. They did a good job. They they paid homage to the original and all that. And I think that it could be done. I'd like to see Point Dexter like as maybe a homicide cop or a cop helping out the neighborhood. The money maybe went to like the neighborhood, a big like maybe center or something. And I don't know. Yeah, they could do like People Under the City, like you were saying, would be cool. Like, and they discover some sort of.
Yeah, People Under the City is a good title.
Yeah.
People Under the Streets.
That seems like a. You say Candyman, and I think about it. It's like that's very Clive Barker. This does seem not as you said Stephen King, but this does feel more of a Clive Barker type of storyline.
Yeah, with a little bit of chud thrown in there.
Yeah, if you did People Under the City, where it's like now there's like a religion that has started because of these two people. They became martyrs. These for whatever group that believes in what they're doing, and
and
it's all led by the little girl, the daughter.
No.
After they whatever, she was just
too.
She was too emotionally far gone to be able to whatever. It's
been, Detective Poindexter has to bring her back. Can he save her after all these years? It's very like Seven or very like True Detective. I would love to see that. Yeah.
Right. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
He empathizes with her so hard. He was in it with her.
You could have. I want to. What's Denzel Washington's son? John David Washington.
Yeah.
Is that? That guy. He'd be the guy from Tenet. Are you guys in Tenet?
So.
What else is he been in? Klansman. Like Klansman.
Oh yeah.
That guy's awesome.
John David Washington, I think his name is. That guy's a great actor. He'd be great as Detective Poindexter.
There's another pitch. Another pitch I see in the chat. Whiskey 4-1 with the pitch. Missing children are held captive above a strip mall dojo. But when the sensei's wife bails to bone an aerobics instructor, the kids easily escape. Steven Seagal, the people who avoid the stairs. I love how he can sneak the Seagal in there, and I never see it coming. Michael Ricci also saying there's an idea the new Scream movie is going the new Nightmare route. I hope that is false. I would agree. Oh my gosh. So I'm trying to see if there's any more pitches in the chat. I don't want to. I was a little bit behind on this, but People Under the City is getting some traction. I also like the name People Under the Streets. I think that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, that is cool.
But yeah, People Under the City. Both of those work.
That is a good. Yeah, just and it could be the same. It could be the same scenario. You go into a house, and all of a sudden you go down below the house, and it starts turning these tunnel systems that lead into.
Yeah.
I mean,
because
that could be
obviously
really creepy.
you get the vibe. There's like obviously some sort of other trafficking thing going on that's way more just organized than what these two bozos are up to.
Well, it could be interesting if someone's maybe going down and killing these people, and like they're finding these dead bodies of these people like above ground, and they're like, "Whoa, who's taking them above ground and killing them? What's happening?" You start as a kind of a mystery detective thing, and then this Detective Poindexter.
Right. Yeah. There's no
that's a
witnesses
pretty cool.
ever. There's no trace of anyone leaving the scene of the crime.
Yeah, I think you almost get a little bit like Manhunter vibes.
Right. Yep.
That would be.
Yeah, he goes and discovers a dead body, and there's a card on it, and he turns it over, and it's a tarot card of the fool.
Which.
Oh, dude, fuck yes. All right.
Yeah.
Although, is there a version of
I'm
this?
sold.
Is there a version of this where because the underground thing? I don't know why, but it's also making me veer towards Texas Chainsaw 2, right? Is there?
Get crazier, yeah.
Is there a cool way that you would get Ving Rhames is a brother? Ving Rhames plays the brother of his character from the first movie.
Oh, just call me Landfill, guys.
You just let
exactly. Yeah, sure.
Oh, that would be cool. Oh, that's
like
the
the Dennis
version,
Hopper character. He just goes down with shotguns.
Oh man, yeah, that would be way
God,
cool.
Yeah. Oh, I love
that.
that.
Ever see? Cool. You know what this gun can do to somebody? You know what it does? It splits them apart. Reverse that part.
Yeah.
Or
what if like it was his brother, and but he was like a cop or something. He wasn't like a piece of shit, and he didn't like his brother. The total opposite of his brother.
Oh, but he gets revenge on it. That would just be cool.
That'd be fun.
People under the stairs with a vengeance kind of thing.
And it's just, but like man, I just see the scene. I don't know how it would happen, but I just picture him down there with like two shotguns, right, pulling it out like the Dennis Hopper 2 chainsaws.
Yeah. Oh, you motherfucker!
Blowing away these people under the city.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
there's kind of a while we're on the Ving Rhames thing, sort of got me think of like, what if Jules from Pulp Fiction? You had fucking Pulp Fiction under this. Like what kind of like he sent someone. You know what I mean? Someone went after him. It doesn't have to be his brother. It doesn't have to be him. Who else could it be?
The only problem is, if we want to make any logical sense out of this just hit me. Whatever is that? If 8 of them maybe escaped out of the end of that movie, and they've been down there, how could there possibly be more than 8 of them? It's not like they've been breeding. They're still people. Like there's still only like 6 of them. They catch them up.
Maybe more have been getting out like all the time. Maybe they're not the first. They're not the first wave of
obviously, you haven't read Flowers in the Attic. All right, where there's a will, there's a way. All right,
not recently.
Ian wants Flowers Under the Stairs. That just sounds horrible. Michael Ricci saying
title.
People Under the World to complete the trilogy. Flowers Under the Stairs.
People Under the World. That's what I mean. If it's like I don't know, generations later, and they're like, we saw all these things. It's just been escalating since forever in the city, and they've just been under the city. Then you're kind of turning.
Well, do you want them to be good, or do you want them to be?
I want one of them to be bad. I want them to be warring factions in the
because you're gonna have if those guys escape,
battle under the stairs or escape from the planet under the stairs.
Battle of the people under the stairs.
I mean, I want to assume Roach kept this guy in check.
No. It's Battle Beyond the Stairs. I'm sorry, I just had to.
No, you got to do the Planet of the Apes approach. It's got to be battle of the people under the stairs.
Battle for the people that are under the stairs.
People under the stairs.
Man, yeah, totally.
Battle for the people that are under the stairs while you're drinking your juice in the hood.
Right?
How long can we make it?
Man, yeah.
Or what fantabulous emancipation of the people under the stairs.
Battle
like all
of the
the
return of the people under the stairs.
Of the escape from the beneath, of the conquest of the people under the stairs.
or all the cellar dwellers, just they're troglodytes. They live under the city, and then there something happens, like the rest of the world goes to shit, and they're the only people that fucking know how to survive and shit. That'd be like there's like in a post-apocalyptic future, those troglodytes are kings.
People under the stairs, Treader alive. I just had to. Stupid. I'm surprised I didn't make any escalator jokes in this one. Credit to me for showing some restraint. But other than requests to bring back Ving, there's not much else in the chat. So I don't know. I think we stumbled with several good ideas, I think, for this. And
I just think if you do it and you do it seriously, I think whatever you do, as long as it's as fun as the first movie is, I don't want the sequel to be fun. I want the sequel to actually have that more serious tone to it. I
this would never fly now. If they put this movie
Yeah,
out now,
it's
people would be like, what the
too-
fuck am I
yeah.
watching? Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
you
you take
can't-
out one part, I think it would actually be okay. It's just-
Ian, you're gonna be okay. I don't know. If you're scare roused, just
Scare roused.
That's okay.
It's just I watched.
We all get a little
I
scare-roused sometimes.
I watched my fellow Americans, and there's Everett McGill, and I just go,
One last one in the chat I see Chanel is saying, my plot of People in the Stairs 2 would be people being murdered in a city is a new resource to alternative meat without knowing the only grocery store butcher shop in that local small town. So that's interesting.
Green.
Yeah. You're selling them the meat from under the stairs.
Soylent Green is people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, yeah,
Soylent Green
Soylent,
is people.
yeah, under the Soylent stairs.
Under
it's not bad.
the Soylent
Yeah.
Green under the stairs. There's the title, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hey, it's no Gilbert Gottfried and Julia Louis-Dreyfus as the couple, but hey, it's good. It's good.
Oh my gosh.
So before we wrap it up and say goodnight, is there anything you guys have got going on in the works? You want to let people know about anything going on? Ian, any articles, or Dustin, anything retro fiend wise you can tell about?
Coming out soon, a B-movie challenge for the 1960s classic that lives up to its title, called Monstrosity, also known as The Atomic Brain.
Ooh.
I'm slightly intrigued
cool.
now. I'm scaroused a little bit.
It's literally a movie that lives up to its title. It's a monstrosity.
It's kind of cool. Movies back then got to have two titles.
Yeah.
Well, they did it to trick people into buying the same movie twice at the drive-in. So,
It worked every time.
Yeah, not as cool when you really break it down.
It's literally like if People Under the Stairs, they released it and bombed, and then they literally brought it out as Subdwellers. Like that.
Yeah, right. It's harder to get up and walk out when you're parked in between 30 other cars that are sitting there trying to watch the movie. A bunch of fucking... Yep.
This movie would have been cool at the drive-in. I will say that before we.
We'll be fine.
This could have been an interesting one to see at like your local drive-in.
Maybe we'll get lucky one of these days, and someone will bring it back to a drive-in near you. Maybe
Double
Mahoney
feature
will
this
make it
and
happen. Yeah.
Shocker.
Oh, dude, take my money. Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, we didn't even get to this, but I mean, you got to be honest. Outside of Nightmare on Elm Street, this is up there with. This is as good as anything else Craven's done, in my opinion. Like it's like I put this up there with the Scream movies and like whatever. This is
it's on his better. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
Like I love Shocker, but like I know what Shocker is when I watch Shocker. I'm not thinking Shocker like, oh my God, this is fine, fucking cinematic master. No,
Right.
I know it's the schlock and I love it. It's Schlocker.
Yeah. Right.
In fact,
Like, I like this.
shit. That's the John Williams version that I need. Schlocker.
I love this like I love Vampire in Brooklyn. I know what I'm getting into, and I'm okay with it.
I don't
It's
give you.
fine.
Wes Craven always does give you the titles you really like. You know what you're
Right.
getting into.
Yeah,
That's
like,
true.
it's your
Yeah, I
fault
mean,
if you don't. Yeah.
He's good at writing titles.
Exactly.
good at writing titles. Well, Dustin, anything?
What's this movie about? The Hills Have Eyes. What?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's in a house.
So, Dustin, is there
yeah.
anything going on in Retrofeed? Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody's a big fan of Ninja 3, The Domination, we got a documentary coming out very, very soon, just wrapped up.
Yeah.
Hopefully the next
What's that
couple
What's
of
that
weeks.
title for the people at home?
Ninja 3: The Documentation. So
Yes.
I've never
Well
been.
done.
Yes, I've
Thank
never been
you.
more proud to be part of the human race
Thank
than when
you.
I heard
Thank
of that
you.
title. It's
Thank
been
you.
fucking
Yeah,
tastic.
it's it's been a long time in the making. We're very excited about it. I can't wait. We can't wait to share it with everyone.
The
So
Sistine
it's coming
Chapel,
very soon.
you know, the Red Cross, Chris
Ninja 3: The
Ninja 3,
Documentation.
you know,
Yeah,
that's his
Yes.
epoch of humanity. I love
It
It's
just
incredible.
came to me. It came to me in a vision.
Oh my God. Well, I am looking forward to that one, waiting on my bated breath. So I guess it's time for me to say that you Fandom fans might want to tune in next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when we get gun happy for our National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon episode.
Oh, he
finally happened. Yes.
finally
I've been
did it.
pushing
Oh
for
my
this
gosh.
for 179 episodes, folks. But as always, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is to smash that like button and leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode of VCR Redux. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlight, Retro Fiend Radio, and Pop Culture Punk. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.
Revenge of the Battle of the Return of the People Under the Stairs.
Stairs.